Imagine this. 6 months from today, your entire life could look completely different. Seriously. No more excuses. No more getting sidetracked. Pretty compelling thought, right? If you're feeling stuck, maybe watching others grow, or just tired of living the same day on repeat, this deep dive is definitely for you. We've been looking at this, well, really profound video transcript. It promises a unique mindset, one that doesn't rely on, fleeting motivation. So our mission today is to pull out the absolute core truths from this material, the kind of brutal honesty that can genuinely unlock a radical transformation for you.
Exactly. And what this source really emphasizes is that this isn't just another pep talk. It's not about feeling good for 5 minutes. It's about a series of non-negotiable decisions. We're going to break down how to shift from passively being behind to actively building a life you're truly proud of. We'll dive into the actionable insights that make this material so powerful.
Okay, so let's unpack this foundational idea first. The source starts with something it calls brutal honesty. But it seems like it's more than just, admitting your flaws. It talks about unearthing these unspoken agreements you've made with yourself that kind of quietly keep you stuck. What does that actually mean?
That's a really critical distinction. The source argues it's not just about identifying the obvious stuff, like procrastination. It's understanding the subtle payoff you're getting from it, maybe avoiding potential failure or the temporary comfort of just doing nothing. It's facing that deeper, quieter truth about why you enable your own stagnation. And the questions it makes you ask are really uncomfortable. Things like, what am I doing every single day that holds me back, even if it feels small? Or what thoughts do I keep believing that make me feel small? And maybe the most potent one, what choices am I making that I already know are leading absolutely nowhere?
Yeah, and the source really doesn't pull any punches. It gives very concrete examples of these quiet culprits. For some, it's that classic procrastination, always putting things off, saying tomorrow, until tomorrow just becomes next year, right? For others, it's an addiction. Could be comfort, certain foods, or just endless digital distractions. It's that pattern where when things get even a tiny bit hard, you escape. And that escape just becomes your default. Then there's the mindset itself. Constantly doubting, feeling crippled by fear, always expecting the worst. It's like you don't trust yourself, so you shrink, you hide, you stay small. And that mindset becomes a self-imposed prison.
Right. And often the hardest truth to swallow, that the source points out, is that sometimes you're the one letting those draining influences stay. Saying yes when you really should say no, or actively avoiding necessary conflict just because it's uncomfortable. It stresses that cleaning out what's been poisoning your progress means absolutely no more excuses, no more blaming the past. It's about drawing a line, deciding, okay, I am not doing this anymore. I see what's hurting me and I'm done allowing it. That moment of full ownership, that's when things genuinely start to move forward.
Okay, so for you listening, the immediate action here is take a ruthless inventory. Write down every action, every thought pattern, maybe people, behaviors, anything that's stealing your confidence or draining your energy, and then intentionally cut them out. Because that's what truly creates the space, right, for healthier growth to actually take root. It's about stopping what simply doesn't belong in the life you want to build.
So building on that honesty foundation, the source moves to its second core idea, breaking the habits that make you hate yourself. It puts it that simply. It's about stopping those ingrained actions that leave you feeling, empty, weak, lazy, or just plain disappointed.
Yeah, and a critical point here is how these habits take hold. The source explains how actions that might have started really small, maybe even just for temporary comfort, they subtly become these chains that lead to a kind of profound self-abandonment. They silently lower your standards. You don't even realize it's happening. And then you feel perpetually incapable of consistency because, well, you're living a version of yourself you just don't admire. And this next point feels like a real game changer. The source issues this direct, non-negotiable challenge. Stop negotiating with these habits, period. Just one more day, you tell yourself. Every time you go back, you're not just delaying your future, you're losing time. Precious time you will never, ever get back. There's no secret trick here, just a radical refusal to compromise with your future self.
Right. So the obvious question is, okay, how do you actually break these chains?
Yeah.
And the source gives a clear answer. You replace the destructive habits with actions that directly align with who you truly want to be. The simple rule it suggests is no more actions that leave me feeling ashamed. Think about it. Instead of grabbing your phone first thing, maybe you drink some water, stretch, step outside for a minute. Instead of mindless junk food, maybe you cook something clean, something nourishing. Instead of avoiding tough thoughts, you actually write them down. process what's going on inside.
Exactly. And this rewiring process, it argues, is deeply uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary. The path isn't about changing everything overnight. That's usually where people fail. It's about picking one thing, just one, cutting it out, actively replacing it, and then being relentlessly consistent for a week. Then, maybe, you add another. This slow, intentional rebuilding, that's where your power comes back. You literally build a version of yourself that isn't ruled by, fleeting comfort or that self-defeating laziness. And this flows perfectly into the next principle from the source, creating a routine that actually forces you to grow. Because growth rarely just happens by accident, right? It happens when you wake up with purpose and go to bed knowing you demonstrably move forward.
Yeah, and the real insight here is clarifying what forcing you to grow really means. It's not just about a busy routine or one that just looks good. It's a structure that genuinely pushes you to show up, even on the days you absolutely do not feel like it. It's about being crystal clear on what truly matters to you, what specifically builds your energy, cultivates confidence, sharpens skills, protects your mental clarity. It's about deciding the night before what kind of person you're going to be when that alarm goes off.
That's powerful. And a common pitfall the source highlights is starting the day with instant distraction. Immediately reaching for the phone, scrolling, checking notifications. It traps you in reactive mode instead of proactively leading your own life. The solution? Take back control with structure. You can't really lead your life if you don't even lead your first hour, can you?
Absolutely. And connecting this to the bigger picture, the source gives some clear, actionable elements for an effective routine. First, the first hour. Making your morning truly yours. That could be movement, tidying your space, fueling your body right, reviewing goals, maybe just quiet reflection. It's your chance to grow before the world even asks anything of you. Then, work time. Being incredibly intentional. What are you actually working on? Focusing on what's necessary, what's impactful, not just what's easy or distracting. And reflection. This is framed as non-optional, daily, even just 10 minutes. Ask, am I getting better? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I proud of how I handled today? Because you won't fix what you refuse to acknowledge.
That makes sense.
And finally, evenings. Designing evenings to support your goals, to reset, recharge genuinely, not just erasing progress with mindless entertainment or low-quality choices that just drain you.
So for you listening, this really pushes us to ask, are you putting real pressure on your routine? Because the source reinforces that most people stay stuck precisely because they don't. The routines are comfortable, not challenging. But by intentionally designing a routine that demands more, you build tangible discipline, and crucially, you earn self-trust. It's about proving to yourself, day after day, that you'll actually follow through.
Okay, let's shift now to a really profound daily battle the source identifies. Choosing progress over comfort. Comfort feels so safe, doesn't it? So familiar. But this material makes a strong case that it's precisely what's been holding you back for years. Trading a deeply fulfilling life for just temporary, fleeting relief. And you might have been doing that for way too long.
Yeah, what really stood out to me here is the absolute incompatibility it describes. You simply cannot grow and stay comfortable at the same time. It's one or the other. Progress demands effort. It demands decisions that stretch you. It demands you stop running from things just because they're hard. Comfort, on the other hand, pretty much guarantees you stay stuck. Same place year after year.
And it illustrates these daily micro-choices so vividly, the ones that make all the difference. Do you wake up with intention or hit snooze again? Focus or scroll? Healthy food or junk? Push through that workout or skip it? Open the book or turn on another distraction? These moments, individually, they seem small, right? But collectively, they shape everything. Consistently choosing comfort reinforces stagnation. Consistently choosing progress builds your capacity to handle more, do more, and ultimately be more.
So the real danger of comfort, the source points out that many people are effectively, maybe unconsciously, addicted to the feeling of comfort. It's become their destructive routine without them even realizing it. It feels good right now, even as it quietly ruins their potential. And the way to break this pattern, it's simple, but definitely not easy. Pick one thing you've been actively avoiding today. Do it. Finish it. And then commit to doing it again tomorrow. It's not about some sudden dramatic overhaul. It's consistent, small choices made daily.
Right. And your mind, of course, will whisper all sorts of reasons to stop, that it doesn't matter, it's too hard. But the source delivers this incredible truth. You are not obligated to believe every thought that shows up in your head. That's not just a nice idea. The practical application, especially when you're deep in discomfort, is to push through anyway. Pushing through discomfort systematically builds your mental endurance and that quiet, deeply earned confidence. You don't actually need to feel comfortable to make profound progress. This really shifts things, doesn't it? Training your mind to stop chasing quick pleasure. Those small hits of dopamine, the endless scrolling, the unnecessary snacks, the reality avoiding, shows they seem insignificant, but they subtly shape your entire life and just ruthlessly steal your focus from what's truly meaningful.
A key insight here is that quick pleasure, by definition, requires almost no effort. That's why it's so attractive. But the problem is, it inevitably leads to impatience, a severe loss of focus. This makes it incredibly hard to build anything substantial, anything meaningful that requires time and sustained patience. It's about intentionally building your tolerance for delayed gratification, choosing actions today that won't pay off until maybe much later.
So, for the listener, this prompts us to ask ourselves, what am I actively avoiding right now? Whenever you find yourself reaching for that quick fix, often that quick pleasure is just a cover for something deeper. Boredom, stress, insecurity, maybe a fundamental fear of the hard work ahead. Awareness is always the crucial first step to changing this autopilot behavior. You pause, you ask, is this really helping me or is it just another escape?
And this brings us right to the next critical step, starting to consistently do the hard things you always avoid. This is the real crucible where change is forged, according to the source. Hard things are literally your training ground. They build unshakable character, deep grit, genuine self-respect. The source makes it really clear you're not stuck because you're somehow incapable. You're stuck because you're consistently choosing easy.
Think about those hard things in your life right now. The difficult conversations maybe you've put off, overdue tasks weighing on your mind, commitments you've procrastinated on for way too long. The source stresses that the only way to break this habit of avoidance is through action, today. It probably won't feel good initially, it might not be smooth, but it will fundamentally shift your momentum, and it proves to yourself what you're capable of.
What stood out to me about his perspective on hard things is that they are rarely as bad as our minds make them out to be. It's the anticipation, that mental buildup, that truly wears you out, not usually the task itself. Once you actually get into it, your body moves, your mind focuses, and when it's done, you feel lighter, clearer, truly in control again. This daily practice builds a powerful mental muscle. It genuinely makes you capable of handling more, tackling bigger challenges down the line.
Okay, let's talk about something maybe a bit sensitive. The quiet, insidious pain of losing trust in yourself. When your actions consistently don't match your intentions, hitting snooze instead of waking up, not following through on a goal you set, it silently erodes your belief in your own word. You say one thing, but your behavior tells a completely different, often demoralizing story about yourself.
Right. But the really good news the source emphasizes is that you absolutely can fix this. It's not permanent. You do it by building undeniable proof, tangible evidence. This means setting small, meaningful promises to yourself, promises you know you can keep, and then doing them consistently every single day. Each follow-through is like a direct message to yourself. My words mean something. It rebuilds that crucial self-trust one small step at a time.
And this consistent action, the source promises, fundamentally changes your internal narrative, your identity, shifting you from maybe feeling unreliable to feeling disciplined, consistent, and focused. This kind of transformation doesn't rely on hype or some fleeting motivation. It's built on earned, tangible evidence. And crucially, even if you slip up, which happens, the key is to get back on track immediately. Don't spiral. Don't let one mistake derail everything. That proves to yourself you don't need to start over every single time.
Exactly. And connecting this outward, it's not just about internal shifts. The source introduces a critical external factor too, the intentional removal, or at least distancing, of people who drain your drive to improve. Not everyone deserves a front row seat at your metaphorical table, right? Some individuals, maybe consciously or unconsciously, they distract you, they drain you, they keep you exactly where you are, kind of trapped in old patterns.
So for you listening, this prompts some potentially very hard questions about your current relationships. Do these people genuinely challenge you to grow, or do they subtly give you permission to just stay the same? Do your conversations revolve around ideas, goals, possibilities, or are they often just consumed by problems, complaints, unproductive gossip? And how do you feel after spending time with them? Consistently focused and energized.
Or consistently drained and maybe a little bit smaller. And the source clarifies something important here. Outgrowing people isn't necessarily about them being bad people. It can simply be about going in different directions, having different trajectories for your lives. Cleaning up your inner circle means bravely setting boundaries, choosing peace over chaos, progress over stagnation, and deliberately making space for new people who will truly support and elevate your growth. Your future, it argues, is fundamentally not a group project. It's your sole responsibility.
Wow. Okay, and now let's unpack the ultimate realization from our source material. Taking absolute ownership of every single choice you make today. Your life, it argues pretty bluntly, is a direct, undeniable reflection of what you decide to do with your precious time, your finite energy, and your invaluable focus.
Yeah, and connecting this to the bigger picture.
Hmm.
Blaming circumstances or defaulting to "I didn't have time" is essentially giving your power away. Ownership means accepting that you are making choices every single day, and those choices, stacked one upon another, are actively building your current reality. You are not powerless. You are not truly stuck, not in the way you might think.
And this is where it gets really potent, I think. The moment you can honestly say, I chose that, even if it was a poor choice, something shifts internally. You stop lying to yourself. You can actually harness that discomfort for change. And you fundamentally take the lead in your own life. It means not waiting for outside factors to magically change or for external permission. It means acting as if your entire future depends on what you choose to do today. Because, well, it kind of does.
Right. And the key question this raises for you isn't necessarily, is everything my fault? That's not always productive, but your growth.
Yeah.
That is absolutely, unequivocally your responsibility. No one is coming to hand you discipline on a silver platter. No one's going to deliver a better mindset to your doorstep. It's about being relentlessly intentional with every choice. From how you wake up, how you speak, how you treat your body, how you choose to handle pressure, you stack these intentional choices daily, building a foundation that becomes unshakable regardless of what life throws at you.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means that in just 6 months, which is not that long, really by embracing this kind of brutal honesty about what's truly holding you back, by systematically breaking those self-defeating habits, building routines that actively force growth, choosing progress over comfort daily, by training your mind to resist quick pleasure, finally doing the hard things you avoid, earning back that crucial self-trust, and courageously curating your environment, you can quite literally become unrecognizable to your past self.
Exactly. This kind of deep transformation isn't about luck. It's not about chance or waiting for the right moment. It's built brick by brick, decision by decision, from consistent ownership, relentless effort, and full, unwavering responsibility. So the final thought for you is, what single choice right now will you take full ownership of? What action will you take today to begin building the life you truly say you want? Because that single choice, that first step in ownership, that's where the profound change genuinely begins.